You're standing in front of a mirror. Big interview, first date, wedding, funeral, and you're holding two pieces of silk like they're instructions written in ancient Greek. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Tying a tie isn't hard because you're bad at it. It's hard because you're fighting against 400 years of muscle memory you've never built. Let me explain. In 1660, Croatian mercenaries showed up at the French court wearing these elaborate neck scarves. King Louis XIV thought they looked incredible, and within a decade, every gentleman in Europe was wrapping fabric around their neck in increasingly complicated ways. And here's what's wild. We've been tying variations of that same knot ever since. But here's the problem. For most of human history, if you wore a tie, you wore it every single day. Your father taught you once when you were 12, and then you just did it automatically, like tying your shoes. You don't have that luxury. You tie a tie maybe 6 times a year, maybe, which means every single time you're starting from scratch. So let's fix that. Not with some complicated diagram, not with 17 steps you'll forget by tomorrow, but with a method that actually matches how your brain works. First, the setup. Stand in front of a mirror. This matters more than you think. Trying to tie a tie by looking down at your chest is like trying to write while looking at your hand from the wrong angle. Your brain can't translate the movements properly. Flip up your collar. Drape the tie around your neck. Here's the key moment most people mess up. The wide end needs to hang about 12 inches lower than the narrow end. Not a little lower, significantly lower. If they're even close to the same length, you've already lost. Why? Because the wide end is going on a journey. It's going to wrap around, loop through, come back around again. It needs that extra length to survive the trip and still end up at your belt buckle. Now, here's the actual method. We're using the 4-in-1 knot. Cross the wide end over the narrow end. Just a simple X shape. Wide end on top. Now wrap the wide end around the back of the narrow end, left to right. You're creating a horizontal band across the knot. Bring the wide end back across the front, right to left this time. This is the visible part of your knot forming. Here's where it gets interesting. Take the wide end and bring it up through the neck loop from underneath. You've just created a triangle of fabric in front. That's your knot, and there's a horizontal band across it from the previous wrap. Feed the wide end down through that horizontal band. This is the move. This is what holds everything together. Pull it through, adjust, tighten by holding the narrow end and sliding the knot upward. Done. Except you probably got it wrong. And that's fine, because here's what nobody mentions. The first 3 times you tie any knot, you're going to mess up the length. Either the wide end is too short or it's hanging down to your knees. This is not a skill problem. This is a calibration problem. Your tie, your neck size, and the thickness of the fabric, all of this changes the math. So you adjust. Start with the wide end slightly lower next time, or higher. You're not learning to tie a tie. You're learning to tie your tie. And here's the thing that'll save you years of frustration. Different knots look better with different collars and different tie widths. The 4-in-1 we just learned, perfect for narrow ties and spread collars. But if you've got a thick tie or a wide collar, you might want a Windsor knot. Bigger, more symmetrical, more formal. Same basic principle, just more wraps. Or a Pratt knot, which ties inside out and uses less length, perfect for tall guys. The Italians have a half Windsor. The British prefer a full Windsor for formal occasions. The Americans just want something that works before the Zoom call starts. But they're all variations on the same theme. Wrap, loop, feed through, tighten. Here's the irony. You spent 3 minutes learning something that some men do every morning without thinking. And yet, when you nail it, when that dimple forms perfectly under the knot and the tip lands exactly at your belt buckle, you'll feel like you've unlocked some secret knowledge, because you kind of have. The tie is one of the last remaining pieces of clothing that requires actual technique. Everything else, shirts, pants, jackets, you just put on. But a tie demands something from you. So next time you're standing in front of that mirror holding those 2 pieces of silk, remember, you're not just tying a knot, you're connecting yourself to centuries of men who stood exactly where you're standing. Now you know how. The question is, do you know when not to wear one?